Hey there, it's Nev from the EVERBLACK Podcast here, just letting you guys know that for the entire month of June, we're taking part in the Starlight Children's Foundation's Stream Raiser campaign, where we're going to try and raise some funds for some sick kids and teenagers and help brighten their lives a little bit. You can donate, share, whatever you can do to help out is much appreciated. And we've got some awesome guests coming up for this month as well. All the links are down here. In the meantime, stay positive, stay heavy. Horns high.
Hey, this is Trevor Sternad from the Black Dahlia Murder here, and you're listening to the EVERBLACK Podcast.
Hey, humans, Carl, this is Odorous from Guam.
I'm going to Battle Fear Factory.
This is George Corey from Under Fisher.
This is Jazz from Double Drop.
This is Wade from Our Last Enemy.
Mike Nick from Suicidal Tendencies.
Hey, this is Wednesday 13.
This is Bruce.
This is Rex from Kill Devil Hill.
This is Gary Lee from Sepultura. You're listening to EVERBLACK Podcast.
Before we go into this episode, we need to give a shout out to our show supporters, Blacklight Art Design, who are our go-to for all our screen printing needs. Check them out at blacklightad.com.au. RW Promotion, who are the best in the biz for all your promotional printing needs like stickers, flyers, banners, badges, and more. Go order yours through rwpromotion.com.au. The brutal occult clothing brand Electric Witch, who have amazing apparel from shirts, hoodies, hats to beanies and more. Check out their full range at electricwitch.com.au and put in the code EVERBLACK for 20% off your order. Also, Lumberpunks Axe Throwing Club, who have venues on the Gold Coast, Brisbane and Perth and will be reopening very soon. Put in the code EVERBLACK to get 10% off your booking at lumberpunks.com. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review the EVERBLACK Podcast through Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, and Facebook, and check out all our articles at everblackmedia.com. All right, on with the show. All right, well, Josh, how's it all going there, man?
Good. It's going pretty good, man. It's been a pretty crazy weekend. That's for sure. It's been pretty mad.
What a wild ride, man. I mean, you know, how are you guys all holding up with everything that's going on? I know that you guys have been doing some videos, like little interview catch-up things, but how is everyone doing? Like, you're all spread out a little bit, aren't you?
Yeah, we're all spread out a little bit. Like, I'm up in Toowoomba, we've got Sam down the Gold Coast, Jim's north side, the other two are in Brisbane, so Dale and AG. You know, like, I think we're all things considered, we're doing okay. You know, it's weird not seeing everyone once a week rehearsing. It's weird not even, you know, we should have been on tour right now. You know, at this moment we would be in America.
Yeah.
So we've sort of been reflecting on that a little bit, going, oh, you know, that part we miss. But no, all things considered, not too bad. Not too bad.
How does that affected you guys in terms of rearranging? I mean, obviously the tour has been postponed. How has that been on the business side of things for you guys?
Oh, look, it's never the best thing to have happen. I think I could speak on behalf of thousands and hundreds of thousands, potentially bands across the world that have had to make that decision. But it could have been worse. I think when we decided to postpone it, it was a little bit ahead of all the lockdowns sort of coming into place before it could have been very detrimental. We sort of sat down and went, you know what, this is a very responsible decision to make. You know, not only is it we minimize that, of course, the financial risk, but at the same time, you're like, you know, we don't want to put ourselves or our families at risk, but we don't want to put the fans at risk. You know, how rough is that to say, hey, we're in your country, all hell is broken loose, come and see our show?
Yeah.
So, you know, it again, all things considered, it could have been a lot worse, but never great. It never leaves you feeling good. I think that's, you know, we all were in a bit of mourning of having to do that. But on the flip side of that coin, the overwhelming support from all of our fans, particularly in America, you know, I didn't hear one person complain. Not one person went and said, what the hell, why? They've all gone, absolutely, you guys are the best. We'll see whenever you get back here.
That's awesome, man. I mean, because considering, I mean, last year though, for you guys, you guys crammed a hell of a lot in. You did a lot last year.
It was a busy year, man. It was a very busy year. It's been actually, honestly, since I joined just before In Contact came out, it's been busy ever since. Like, there has just been so much touring that we've got under our belt.
It's amazing, dude. And I mean, was there a highlight? I mean, you guys went everywhere, but I mean, was there one thing that sort of stuck out from last year, that really topped it all?
Honestly, yeah, it's going to be a twofer for me. The whole sort of Latin America, North American thing that we did last year, playing America, we did the Prog Power USA Festival, and that was a pretty incredible thing to walk out to, man. That's first time we've hit America. They want us to go there for years, and we finally got to that festival, and it was so great. Like their whole community over there, that part of that Prog Power family is just, it's beautiful. It's genuinely beautiful. Everyone's just there to have a good time. I couldn't see an ounce of negativity going on there. So that was a pretty amazing experience. But the two shows that we did in South America, Chile and Mexico, man, I've never come across such passionate fans in my life, man. They're passionate people. It was just, it's overwhelming, but it's also just, you get out there. Like Chile, we walked out to it's a huge venue. So like most of their main acts of particularly prog stuff, like Tesseract, were there a few weeks later after we were there, right? It's a decent venue. We had nearly packed the place out. And for the first time in the year since I've joined the band, I was nervous. I'm actually backstage. I'm like, okay, cool. I don't know what to do. And you walk out on stage just to do a quick line check, and people are losing their damn mind at you. And you go,
oh, man,
okay, are you guys ready for this? This shit's going to be insane, right? And of course we go out there and they blew our heads off, man. So it was a whole other appreciation of doing live shows when you get crowds like that. Not to say that our Australian crowds are any less, excited and into it, or European fans. It was just, we didn't know what to expect, and that's what we walked out to. Blew our damn minds.
Oh man, that's awesome. Well, of course, I mean, you've just released a new Caligula's Horse album, Rise Radiant, and despite it being a difficult time for the music industry in general, but it's been received really, really well. Like, dude, the word everywhere, and it's amazing. It really is an amazing album.
Thank you, man.
But to see that support is unreal.
It really has. We were very fortunate because we were doing as yet unrevealed thing on the weekend, and we pretty much got to be together on the day of the release. So we went down on the Friday, and we're all getting ready to do this thing, and it was just so nice to be together as a band and we're seeing all the reviews, we're seeing all the social media love, and it was pretty much immediate from when it went live at midnight on that Friday morning. My Instagram just blew up, and I'm getting messages from all of these people all over the world just going, I love it, album of the year, 10 out of 10, oh my god, tears, etc. And you're just like, man, this is insane. Like I think I had more of a time to enjoy it this time, because with In Contact, it was such a whirlwind for me personally. It was for everyone else too. That album, at the 11th hour, it finished getting written, and we pretty much recorded, mixed and mastered that bad boy in 5 weeks, which is just like such a compressed production schedule. So our heads were spinning by the time it came out. Whereas, we finished this, I tracked my drums in December, and we were finished by January. So we've been sitting on this for a couple of months. So that anticipation's been building up. But the response has been truly overwhelming, where I couldn't have hoped for a better response.
I even saw some kid did a drum cover of Slow Violence.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Liam Brad. Yeah, I know. this kid's amazing. Liam Bradford's his name. He's this awesome kid down in Melbourne. He's such a talented drummer. Like, at that age, he's doing some of the stuff he does. It's like, I'm in trouble. It's that sort of deal, right? And he's come to a bunch of shows. Like, I remember the first time I looked up on the mezzanine at one of the shows down in Melbourne, and I'm seeing this little kid rocking out. I'm like, hey, that's really cool. And every time we go down, we hang out, and it's really awesome. And I get a message from him the night before he posted saying, hey man, I just want to let you have a look at this first. Like, yeah, what? And it's groovy as, man. He nailed it. That's cool. That's cool.
Ultimate compliment. Really?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I've had him. There was another dude in Canada who did the same thing with Slow Violence, But we're seeing, not even just for me on drums, we've seen people like the day of release, we're trying to smash out one of Sam's solos. on one of the songs or on Instagram, and the only response you can have aside from "Man, that's just killer," it's like that was really fast.
And of course, I mean, this is album number 5 for the band, and you're second with the band, as we mentioned. But how was it going to write and record this one for you this time? I mean, did you feel a bit more comfortable with getting in there? As you said, it was a bit of a whirlwind the first time. Was it a little bit more relaxed where you could sort of take a bit of a step back and plan it out a little bit more drum-wise?
Yeah, absolutely. I had a lot more time to help like compose those drum parts and be a little bit more thoughtful with them, much more relaxed. I mean, again, it's a couple of years between In Contact and all of that touring. So, we were so comfortable with playing with each other. There's a real shorthand between all of us, performance wise, and then, writing wise is that starting to happen across all the members too. Mm-hmm. So I think the writing aspect even helped a bit more this time, because myself, Adrian, and Dale have had some contributions to the writing on this record this time. So that changed the vibe just to this more all-encompassing, almost familial type vibe. We're all just a big family, and now it's like, hey, everyone's in on the creative aspect as well as the performing. It's such a cohesive, where it's like a really cohesive unit now. I think we've always been tight, we've always worked well, but this is just that next step up now. And
that can be something that's really hard to do for bands on any level, what I mean?
Yeah.
Like even big massive bands, to find that it's really quite special. And you can tell on this album as well, you can definitely tell that there's something going on in the background that you guys have just clicked. It's just incredible.
Yeah, it's really revitalized everyone too. Not to say that anything was getting stale by any
no,
the imagination, but it felt there was just this new energy. I think that's and that's we were discussing that just before, in the weeks leading up to release. We're just sort of reflecting on everything. How's everyone feeling? Well, aside from the exhaustive production process, because it always is exhausting, you sit back and like, yeah, this is something else now. This is a whole new it's the same band, some different members, but it's a whole new thing to us.
And how would you say the writing partnership between Jim and Sam, they've been doing that for years, and then knowing the material and your point of view coming into the band and being part of the last couple of cycles, how do you think that that's evolved since their beginning to where they are now? And now that you're part of that. Well,
there's an ease of their collaboration. I've seen it in action, and it's something to behold. I think when you hear of certain writing partnerships, you could just rattle off so many writing partners.
Yeah.
And I think anyone has to have a preconceived idea of what that could be, and I don't think it will not measure up to what you think it is. Everyone's going to have their unique little dynamic, but to watch these guys work, it's a cliche to say that they finish each other's sentences, but they literally do. And they literally do, because, and this is what I've learned so much from those guys. And I think that's a really important thing, is that, you don't just go, here's a bunch of ideas, let's have at it. You really trying to learn how they approach their songwriting, and it's this all-encompassing thing. It's not just, hey, we've written this amazing song, we've put all the parts together, hey Jim, can you write some lyrics and melodies? It's literally happening concurrently. You'll have a riff, and then they start talking lyrical ideas, and then it's like, okay, well that turn of phrase or that syllable may not work with the melodic structure that we're going for here, and the where we saw this, we were on the 2018 European tour, and we were in a place called Mungia in Spain. We had a day off, and we'd been working on a song for a little while. At that point, it was Ocean Rise. Ocean Rise was actually one of the first batch of songs that was written for the album. And we're in Mungia, and they've got the guitar out, and they started working these ideas. And, it was an experiment to see if all of us could be in that moment with them, and we couldn't. And not through lack of trying. It was just the way they bounced off each other. It's such an organic process, and it's so fast. It's that shorthand that I said before. And, you know, I didn't get to see that part of the process for In Contact, because when I joined, Graves was already written. It was like, hey, welcome to the band. Here's Graves. We're going to tour this song in a couple of months. Good luck. Cheers, guys. That's terrifying. And, you know, then it was, okay, here's the album, bam, 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 learn them, away you go. So I wasn't privy to that process. And I think, you know, seeing how they work together gives you a real, you know, you start to figure out, okay, maybe I can start approaching it from this angle. And realistically, I don't think there's any angle any of us could approach that by just presenting an idea, being really passionate about that idea, and then seeing where that idea takes you. Maybe, you know, an idea I contribute, I might run out of steam on, but Sam goes, yes, I just boom, away you go. Sometimes it can be just one little thing and off he goes. You know, it just, again, organic is probably my favorite word. It's probably a little cliche when you're talking about writing partnerships or writing in general, but it's such an organic thing that it's almost unquantifiable to say how you fit in there. I think it just happens, and it can be a different dynamic on a daily basis, just depending on where the material's going.
In regards to the meaning of the album title and how it relates to the overall theme and the cover, how does that all blend in?
So Rise Radiant, well, that was it. That was one of the first things, you know, we had obviously the themes, lyrical themes, and the ideas were first, you know, even just the germ of those ideas and themes. It was the title that kind of solidified everything, and that was a Dale creation, actually. Dale had been mulling over a lot of the themes that we'd all been discussing, and just felt that encapsulated, and it did. You know, with the idea of the album is that no matter what challenges or adversity that gets thrown at you, you don't necessarily overcome them. You just succeed in spite of that. You know, it's more of a positive. You know, it's reflected in the album artwork. The deer is looking at that mountain, going, "Cool, I'm just going to do it." You know, not, oh, okay, build yourself up. It's, you know, it is a fountain of positivity.
Yep. Now I get it.
And there, yeah. So Rise Radiant is pretty much just a very, very, what's the word? Almost poetic way to say, you know, when you rise above that, you don't rise bruised and battered. You rise going, yeah. You rise feeling good and positive and inspired and self-assured as a result.
And the song Resonate especially is a standout for me. It's a quiet moment in the album, and I think it has a lot to say as well. I mean, what's the meaning behind that one?
Look, that's definitely a Jim personal thing, you know. I think he has his own meaning, but you know, what I take from that is, you know, I think it's the line in sort of the chorus, you know, give me room to resonate, you know. I think it's room to breathe. You know, and that's it's interesting for me. It kind of works thematically in lyrically, but it also works thematically and placement of where it is on the album too, because, you know, it's like a triple whammy of intensity, you know, with Tempest, Slow Violence, and then Salt, which is just, you know, huge. It's huge. Nice. It's what it is. Then you have this lovely moment where it's more introspective, and you can breathe and you can relax, and, you know, that's sort of my takeaway from that one.
I really like that.
It's so beautiful too. You know, like I remember when I first heard it, and it was the little melodic hook that Jim had for that was just, it's an earworm. It gets stuck in your head. I'm singing it for days, and then, you know, it was one of the last things to come together on the album. And, you know, this is just another one of those incredible moments between Sam and Jim where they tuck themselves away for a little while, and out they come with that. The structure's there, and then the production goes into it, and it's so nice. I love those moments too. You know, that we had it on In Contact as well with Love Conquers All. You know, that was a short little moment as part of the narrative. but stylistically, it was just that little bit different. It had this, you know, again, a very atmospheric vibe to it. And Resonate just takes that little idea of Love Conquers All and just expands upon it, you know?
And then bam, straight back in.
And then we just give you another, you know, kick in the face.
Yeah, that's right. You know, it's a really well written piece of music. Like the whole album together just really flows, and I really like that. And another thing that's really exciting for you guys is Japan. It comes out in Japan next month with, you know, bonus tracks, and they love their physical media over there too, and they're nuts for those bonus tracks.
They sure are.
I think that's something that's really exciting for any band.
Yeah. Well, we've been chasing that we've been wanting to get in there for a little while now, and you know, the timing's right. The timing is absolutely right. Maybe not to get there at the moment, but you know, the response that we've got so far has just been huge. You know, we definitely have fans there, and I think we're going to be very pleasantly surprised. You know, I can't wait. But yeah, that release, that announcement, super exciting.
That's like my dream to go there.
I've never been. It's one of the places I've never been, and it's definitely on the bucket list, man. Definitely on the bucket list. I've had friends who have gone and just said, whatever you think you're going to expect when you go there, just cast it aside because you've got no idea. It's a whole other world over there. And this is not in a bad way. It's just
no.
the culture, it's so vibrant, it's so alive, and I'm like, yes, give it to me. Get me out of this house.
Giant friggin' robots.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
What one of us doesn't want a giant mech?
Yeah. I'm all about it. Take me with you when you go.
Yeah, please.
Another thing, talking about before about, you know, you got dudes like covering your drums and you know, obviously you're getting lots of message. Do you get message to get, you know, give drum lessons on the road as well? Is that something
it's not really been much of a thing. It's something I've considered, and something I think if I put the interest out there, it's definitely up there. But you know, we've had discussions about it, and we've sort of come to the conclusion that sometimes there's just no time.
Yeah.
You know, with how, particularly an international tour, it's so tightly booked and packed that sometimes, you know, you're not getting to a venue until pretty close to your load in and sound check. And then it's just a race to, you know, all of a sudden you're on stage and then you're finished, you've packed the van up and you're on the bus going to sleep, you know. So it's definitely something I'm keen for. You know, we've done, Sam and AG have done some masterclasses on the Australian tour, which has been really cool. So I think as we go forward, it's something I'm so keen to do, and just hope that we can sort of weave that into the fabric of the tour schedule and say allow a time for, you know, some lessons or masterclasses or whatever they end up being. But yeah, super keen, man.
I think that'd be awesome. I think it'd be awesome to see you do that and connect with other drummers that have obviously found a little bit of influence in what you're doing, and to see how they interpret it. What am I trying to say? You know what I'm trying to say? Interpret it their way and see that, I guess, from a different angle. I think that'd be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because, like, and I don't mean this in a disparaging way to any other drummers, but while I've got chops, I don't, it's not a showcase, I suppose, if that's probably a bad turn of phrase. It's showcased. You know, I have many moments. You hear what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But I've always been one of those drummers that I just want to groove. I play to the song, and most other drummers that do that as well. But there's definitely a lot, you know, like say Board from Leprous, for example, is that it works for Leprous's music because it's so spacious and it's so atmospheric that there's room for his interpretation of what he wants to do. So while it sounds like it's flashy, it's just some intricate, cool stuff. Whereas with Caligula's Horse, there's so much layering going on. The songs are quite dense in a lot of ways. And that's when you go, all right, pick your moments. And I think that's what I'd love to explore even more. You know, I much prefer, I've had drum lessons where it's just like, yeah, you can do some cool stuff. Now play me a 4/4 beat. I'm like, okay, cool. And you play it. He's like, yep, keep going. And then all of a sudden your body starts to relax into it. And while your head's thinking this is boring as heck, and they go, now you're grooving. And that's something that I'd love to explore with a lot of drummers. So man, I'm keen. I'm super keen on the idea.
That's awesome, man. That'd be sick. And also, other good news that dropped this week was the Destroy Alliance agency too, which you've been to. Yeah, that is massive, and I think it's such a positive thing for Australian music. You know, especially during this time, I think uniting people like that and bands and pushing everything forward is such a massive thing. Like, how are you guys feeling about it?
Dude, we're super stoked, man. I think it's going to be great to have that support and that sort of sense of unity. You know, like you said, I think we're all uniting. We're all very aware of what's going on at the moment. And I think, you know, the vibe I've sort of got from all of this is that this feels like with this sort of unity with Destroy All Lines, and we're seeing all other pockets of this sort of stuff happening across our industry. I'm kind of almost prepping myself for another, you know, 90s Australian alternative kind of vibe. You know, remember back when Livid was there, and I just, I'm sort of getting that vibe again, you know. And I think you know, while it won't be that it still be fun, it's definitely not going to be the style of music that was around then, you know, particularly prog. I think we're going to see so much more of our own artists are going to be touring, and it's going to be a real resurgence. I think I can't wait.
That's the word, because I think everyone's so cooped up and everyone's going crazy, like not seeing shows. Like I was talking to a dude today who said he's like, man, I just want to see a band live. I just want to, you know what I mean? And it's going to be huge. I think those first, like from the get-go, everyone's going to be out in force. Everyone's going to be, I think more appreciative as well. You know,
there's gonna be a real can you imagine like the collective vibe in those first shows, man?
Oh dude,
like it's gonna be there's gonna be tears and everything. Let's be real. There's gonna be some real emotion and just like overwhelming positivity that's gonna come from everyone, and then we're gonna beat the shit out of each other because we're moshing. It's gonna be great.
Oh man, it's gonna be the best thing in the world. Like me and my band, we had a jam the other night, and we just, you know, we hung out a little bit longer than usual because I guess you just miss each other in that sense. Like, yeah, I don't really sound you know, but you find that appreciation, you know.
Yeah, absolutely, man. No, I'm with you. No, it's while like we're getting to do stuff like this, right? It's great. We're all talking all the time, but there's nothing like being just in an actual physical presence and being able to react and goof around in that way. That was. And we were fortunate enough to get that in this little thing that we did on the weekend. It was really cool, you know, and I think we all walked away I was driving home just feeling all, you know, perky and happy. I'm like, this is cool.
On off that steam, hey. Like,
man, that's absolutely.
Man, it's the best thing in the world. And, of course, I mean, you've toured America, Europe. What else is on the hit list for you guys? Obviously, Japan is one.
Japan, I mean, right now it's just getting back on the damn road, isn't it? You know, I just want to get to places and play some music. I know Sam in particular has a little bit of a soft spot for the idea of going to Russia.
Oh, that'd be cool.
And that would be really cool, actually. You know, I Japan's pretty high on the list. I can't wait to do a proper tour of America, you know, in spite of everything. It's sort of going down at the moment. I can't wait to get over there, man. You know, there's so much of that culture that I really relate to. I grew up with, you know. We all did in that sort of thing, you know. So there's all those little things that I know that I will be able to experience when I get there. That's what I can't wait for, man. But honestly, I've got to hit so many places I never thought I'd get to, you know, with this band. So I kind of count myself very fortunate that, you know, I've got to see half the stuff, man. It's incredible. But Japan is going to be off the chain good when we get there.
Man, bring back some robots.
Yeah. Let's be real. The big ass robots are still going to fit in a suitcase.
Well, I mean, if you could see, it's all robots, man.
I'm getting a vibe.
Yeah,
I can see some things, and I'm liking what I'm seeing.
Yeah. I think I'm a big nerdy dude, so
Good.
the music's awesome over there. You know, they love it sounds like you're gonna have a blast, and it's definitely gonna happen for you guys. So it's
Soon.
future 2021.
Soon.
Well, I mean, hopefully it's gonna be sooner than that. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's the hope. You know, I mean, I sort of look at what we're doing in Australia, and it looks like, you know, for all intents and purposes, it could happen a little sooner. Overseas, internationally, I don't think so. I think next year is definitely going to be, it's going to be definitely the time, and I hope it is. I really hope, because, you know, from our perspective, it's just, we got this new music we want to play live. I can't wait to play some of this stuff live. Got to make sure I can first, you know, actually do it in real time.
You'll be able to. Come on.
I don't know, man. Some black metal blast beats on that album were that was definitely testing the limits of my ability. That's for sure.
So, I mean, obviously, you can't really say tour and stuff like that. But what else have you guys got planned in terms of the band in the meantime? Have you guys you're releasing another single or some more interview stuff?
Look, I think there's always sort of interview things coming up. I think we're definitely going to be looking at potentially something else from the album. You know, I don't know whether it's a case we strike while the iron's hot, or whether we just, you know, let the vibe sort of settle in and everyone really absorbs the album, you know, because there's a lot going on in this thing, you know, so it's going to be really nice to give people that space. You know, I think we're sort of keeping our minds open to any possibilities. You know, I think it'd be a really cool idea to maybe do some sort of streaming concert like old Powderfinger did over the weekend, you know, and yeah, you know, and it's funny, we've been talking about that. They did that, and we kind of watched iTunes and all that sort of sales stuff when you're getting in, you know, you release an album and you go, yeah. Oh, Powderfinger. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, Powderfinger are back, aren't they? But I watched the video, and we were just discussing this afternoon of what an awesome thing they did, man. You know, just the vibes for that thing, and I think it's come at a really good time.
Totally
I think it came at a really good time, and it just sort of seemingly hit out of nowhere, you know, like it was only last week I saw a thing come up on my social media going, hey, Powderfinger are doing this thing, like, whoa, what? Okay, no build up, just there it is. So, I mean, I think we'd all be in love with the idea of doing that. It's just whether we can, you know, maybe we can make it happen, but minds are open. We'll see what comes our way and make the most of what we can, considering the situation.
Well, man, it's definitely exciting times ahead for you guys. And, well, Josh, thanks again for hanging on the show, man. Rise Radiant is out now. The links, I'm going to have all the links right here. And in the meantime, man, take care, you and the boys, and we're going to see you guys really soon. I know it.
Very soon, man. As soon as we can.